and welcome to the Baswik podcast. Welcome to any returning viewers, welcome to any new viewers, and I am very, very sorry that I have been gone for such a long time. I was hit with the flu. It's an epidemic in Denmark right now, and then lots and lots of work. Still trying to find time to meet up with some friends and celebrating my birthday. But yeah, I'm back and I have been looking forward to this. I have a lot of great things for you today. I am Frauke. I'm 35 years old now. I live in this beautiful house with my boyfriend and our 4 Alaskan Malamutes. Those are sled dogs, and that's a very great passion of mine. I also, I'm a very crafty person. I love to do things with my hands. So I knit a lot. That's my primary hobby. But also crocheting, cross stitch, you name it, I will do it. The past few weeks have been a lot of knitting. I visited my aunt last week and took the train, and had a lot of hours in the train due to some delays and so on, but I will tell you more about that later because I went to a yarn festival. And I have some exciting projects to show you, but first of all, the administrative stuff. You can find me on Ravelry as FSiemer. You can find the Ravelry group for this podcast as well. It's called Baswik. There are the show notes are down below, but they're also in the group. And yeah, come join us and talk about your projects and what you are up to, but also the things I'm showing here. You can find me on Instagram. I'm very active on Instagram. I have a private account called missbabs. I will put all the info down here below. And you can find my store there as well, called Baswik_yarn. My private profile, you're welcome to follow any of the profiles, but my private account on Instagram is the most active one. I try to put pictures up there when I do exciting stuff or have something to show, and I love the medium. So come join me and yeah, introduce yourself. I have a lot of great stuff for you today. As I mentioned, I haven't been here for a while. Last time I podcasted was in January when we went to Sweden. I made a special edition from the cabin, but I was when I returned, there was a lot of work to do due to school reform, and then now we've been warned that there will be a conflict later this year, so we're slowly preparing for that. But it was my birthday as well, and I was sick. I was sick for a week with the flu. A lot of people are hit by this illness right now, and it's I cannot remember when I was sick the last time, so I was hit hard. But I have been knitting a lot, and I have so many things to show you, and I've been looking forward to coming back. So welcome to any returning viewers, and welcome to any new viewers. Welcome to the Baswik universe. So to copy Katie from Inside number 23, what am I wearing? Well, I am wearing the Chuck sweater by Andi Saatterlund. I actually knitted over a year ago when we went to Sweden last time. But it was way too short, and I thought I could live with it, but I couldn't. I didn't wear it. Yeah, a year later, I ripped it out and I extended it. So now I am wearing it constantly because I love the color. It's a mint color. It's Malabrigo. I think it's worsted. It's one ply, so it pills a lot. I need to get a gleaner somewhere, but I really love the pattern, and I got this new brooch from a girl called Christy May from London. She was sorting through her jewelry, and she put some up for sale on Instagram, so I grabbed this one. I love green, and it's some kind of lucite, and I just love it. It was so great. She does great artwork, and yeah, you can find her on Instagram. But yeah, that was a side note. Back to the first segment here. It's always called Beautiful and the Damned. The beautiful projects on my needles, and the ones who need to be damned and pilled, or yeah, what's it called? It is called ripped out. There haven't been a lot of those projects lately, but I have been hooked on casting on, and I've cast a lot of projects on, not finishing any of them, But yeah, for the past week I've been pretty monogamous. Actually, I used to be a very monogamous knitter. I don't know why. I started a project and I always finished it before casting on the next. And over the past year, whilst my knitting has exploded, and I don't think I've ever been this creative as I've been the last year. The projects have been piling up, and I felt the need to just cast on more things. So I am definitely not a monogamous knitter anymore, but for the past week I actually have been, because I cast on this lovely project due to a very long train ride to Germany. It's called the Ladies Jumper in the Bluebell Pattern. It's a vintage pattern. I have put all the info down below and a link to Ravelry where you can find it. The pattern is for free, and it actually looks very intricate, but I soon found out it was actually very easy. But this is, it's in black and white, but this is the pattern. As I mentioned, you can get it for free online. It's a PDF file, and it's this lovely pattern. And a few weeks ago, I actually already bought some yarn, and I didn't know what I wanted to use it for. And it is this one. It's Sandnes Alpakka. I will just look into it. It's 110 meters per 50 grams. It's 100% pure alpaca, and it is just lovely and squishy and soft, and it's this lovely petrol color, or yeah, dusty turquoise, and I really liked it. So I just bought 10 skeins of it, just if I might fall over a pattern. And so I decided that maybe I could use it for this one, and I cast it on my way to Germany last week, and I have already made the back, and this is the back. It's all knit in pieces, and it's not been washed and blocked yet, but this is the back piece. The front piece is exactly the same, and then I need to do the arms and the neckband. But I'm really chuffed with this so far. I can't wait to wash it and block it. I know alpaca is not, it doesn't hold its form, and yeah, I'm very excited about seeing how this will end. It is knit in pieces, as I mentioned, so I have to sew it all together in the end. But I actually really like yeah, piecing it together at last. It gives a great shape, and I can still alternate while sewing it together. So I'm very excited about this. As I mentioned, I already started the front piece, and I started this morning, so it's very quick right now. I came to find out that once I've knit the back piece, the front piece is not that hard, because I actually remember most of the yeah, what's it called? Yeah, most of the pattern. So so we just knit along. So I think this will be a quick knit from now on, onto the arms when I've finished with this, and then it's just, yeah, sewing it together and doing the neckband, and then it's done. So I hope I will get it this season. It's actually quite airy due to all these yarn overs, so I actually think I can wear it a lot during the summer as well. We don't have warm summers here in Denmark, so that will be an opportunity for me. I knitted on my carbons. I love the carbons. I actually just had a discussion with both Karen from my favorite yarn store and one of my colleagues the other day, because they hate the clicking noise they make when you knit, and I love it. So I have the rosewoods from Knit Pro as well, and I love them just as much. But yeah, for this project it had to be the carbons. Yeah, it's just a lovely texture, and I can't wait to finish it. I will definitely show you, and I will definitely put a picture on Instagram, so follow me there and head over there and find me. and yeah, this is just one of the projects, and it's a project I started because I knew I had a lot of hours on the train, and due to some delays I had even more. So even though it's a very extensive pattern, you knit pattern both back and forth. I actually knitted while sitting and talking to a lot of ladies on my way to Leipzig on last Saturday, but I will tell you more about it later. I had a lot of project with me in Germany because I wanted to show my aunt, and because I actually have a lot of projects on my needles right now. One of the projects I've started actually before the sweater is this. Many of you might know it. It's been discussed a lot online, and it's been on Ravelry for quite a few years. It's called the Great American Aran Afghan. It's a blanket, and it's knit in pieces, or these squares, and then you sew it together. Or yeah, I haven't come that far yet, but yeah, you put them together and then you knit this border. And last year I actually asked my mom if she would like a blanket like this, and she really loved it. So I bought the yarn. It's Cascade 220, and it's just been lying around. And then I told one of my colleagues about it. She's a very good knitter as well, and she immediately started and found a group and joined, and yeah, she was done within the summer of last year, and I still hadn't started it. So this year I thought, well, maybe it was on time. I don't have a deadline for it. It does not have to be finished at a specific time, so I thought, well, I could just knit a square once in a while when I feel like it. So I've actually already completed the first square. I haven't brought it with me. It's downstairs in the living room in its own little purse, and I've cast on the next, and I didn't get any further than that because then there came I had some trouble with the pattern, so I just put it aside. But it will be a project that I will take out whenever I feel like it, and just continue. I will not use all of the patterns in here. There are, I think, 24, and you only need 20 to make the blanket. I've chosen 20 of these. Actually, some of those they use for the pillows. I put in the blanket instead of some of the blanket pieces, but I think it will be really great, and I can't wait to see it. The Cascade, I've never knit with the Cascade 220 before, and it's a lovely yarn. It's very soft and squishy, and it makes a great texture for this pattern. It's actually recommended by a lot of people. I've been on Ravelry and seen all just browsing through all the lovely projects in there, and a lot of people have knit this blanket, and I'm not that much into these memory blankets and yeah, scrap blankets, so this is maybe a way for me to get a blanket after all. I will test knit it for my mom and see if it's to my, yeah, if I like it, and then maybe I will knit one for myself as well. But yeah, let's just wait and see if I ever get this one finished. It's a lovely project. It's an American pattern. It's made by Knitters Magazine, and actually all the patterns were part of a competition where you could send in your square, and the best ones are in this booklet. I ordered it online. I think I got it at Amazon, and there are a lot of different booklets, also called Aran Afghans, and yeah, they are all lovely, and I really like the style of this. It's very cozy, hyggelig, as we say in Danish, and yeah, I'm very excited about it, even though it has been, yeah, banished to my project bag again. But nevertheless, someday it will be done. Some tea. Yeah, it's tea. I actually started this podcast always mentioning that I didn't like tea, and now I'm actually drinking it. It's David Rio, and it's called Flamingo Vanilla Chai Tea, and I really like it. It's just to my taste. And as you can see, it's in my own mug. It's a mug my mom and dad bought for me. It's actually made for me because in Germany you can buy a lot of these mugs with the name on it, and even though my name is it's Frisian, Yeah, I like the horses. It's Frisian. It's not very normal. So I could never, as a kid, I could never find a cup with my name on it. It actually made me very sad. And I had a cup when I was little, but it was also made for me. And now, a few years back, my mom and dad went to Germany, and a lady was making these. You could buy all the usual names, but she made one for me. So now I have my own cup again, and I really, really like it. So cheers. Skål. Lovely. So that was the Great Afghan. Yeah, sorry, but my notes are down here, and they are all confusing. I will put the show notes down below. I hope you like them. I try to link to the patterns if they're on Ravelry or if I found them somewhere else, and I try to link to all the people as well who I mentioned, so they get the recognition that I want to give them. But yeah. Oh, wait a minute. I have forgotten something. I will just pick it up. Just a minute. I am back. Sorry. I forgot one of the projects. While in Sweden, actually while in Germany over Christmas or over New Year's, I started a project. It was called the Ladies Raglan Cardigan, and I think I showed you some of the pieces on the last episode from Sweden, but I wasn't finished, and I put pictures up on Instagram of it because I really love it. It is this lovely color. It's called Roasted Pumpkin. It's from missbabs from the US, and I ordered it I think a year ago. It is this very simple pattern, and it became this one. It's a cropped cardigan. I was looking for some very special buttons, and I actually contacted a store in Odense, and she was very nice and answered me right away, and she wanted to send them, and then she got sick, or she fell ill, and then she answered me, and then I was sick, so I found some buttons elsewhere, but it was finished, and I've actually worn it quite a few times. I will put a picture in here so you can see what it looks like when I wear it. I love the color. It's this. I think I described this as somewhere in between a pumpkin and a rusty car, but it's a very great compliment because I really love it, and a lot of people have complimented me on it. It is fitted. It's very lovely, and I won't say that I will never knit it again, because it was actually such an easy pattern that you can knit it so quickly. I might actually consider doing one more, maybe on a larger needle next time. I don't know yet, but I really love the project. It was knit in pieces as well. I knitted on my carbons again, and oh sorry, I can see that my like this. It was knit in pieces, the arms and the front and the back, and then when you've sewn it all together, you had to knit the button band as well, and then sew it on. So there was a lot of sewing involved, but I'm very, very happy with the result, and I'm going to wear it until it falls apart. It was really an easy pattern. I have linked to it down below. It's from the Target. I bought it at SubversiveFemme from Etsy, and like I said, it was missbabs. It's worsted weight, and it was called Roasted Pumpkin. Last time, I showed you a picture of the Songbird mittens. I actually think I showed you the Songbird mittens by Erica Heusser. Erica Heusser, Songbird mitten. They're very popular right now. I can see that. I saw a lot of pictures of them on Ravelry, and I gave my best friend some hand-dyed yarn in gray. It's called Gravel, because the band is called Gravel Roads, and then the natural ones, and then I told her that I wanted to knit those mittens for her. I finished them while in Sweden, and I blocked them when, yeah, I actually think I blocked them up there, but else, yeah, maybe I blocked them when we came home. And then I met up with her, and she received them. So I will put a picture in here of my lovely friend Anja and her Songbird mittens, and she was really, really happy with them, and I think she wears them all the time, so that just makes me happy. And I'm really fond of knitting mittens at the time, so yeah, I will come back to that later so you can see what I have been up to. One of the other things I started when I was in Sweden was, like I said, that I wanted the socks. It was the night before Christmas, with the Christmas trees or pine trees or whatever you will call them. It is what's it called? It's a pattern by Danielle from Little Bobbins, and it's a Christmas cast on, and I didn't mind that because Christmas Eve we celebrate here in Denmark, so I couldn't cast anything on, and I bought this lovely yarn. It's Wollmeise. I bought it in Flensburg when we went there for our Christmas come together with my parents and my no, it was actually just with my parents this time, and I immediately thought this was the perfect yarn for this project, and I really wanted to cast them on when we were in Sweden. I cast a hat on, I made some socks, and this was cast on when I sat in the car on my way home again, but in Sweden. So it still counts, but I've only made one. I've knitted on my Knit Pro Zings 2.25, and I really love those needles. I only had one set until last week, so this project had to move for another project, and that is this one. It's not finished yet, so please be patient. I wanted to make some mittens for myself now that I made these beautiful ones for my friend Anja. And one thing I love, I think I mentioned it before, I love the 20s. I love Art Deco and Art Nouveau. And one of the birds of the 20s is the peacock. I love the colors of the peacock, this royal blue and this very intense green, and then with a black hat, and it's very majestic and maybe a little arrogant as well. So I wanted to make something for myself, and I was looking around and I actually couldn't find a pattern with a peacock, so I made my own. And this is the peacock pattern. It will be released very soon, or at least I will try to find some test knitters out there. This is the inside. I still need the thumb. I have made the pattern for it. I will have to do the other mitten as well. I have started it, I've just not finished it. I wasn't completely satisfied with the color. It's Malabrigo, and I actually don't remember the name. I will put it down below so you can see it. I was not completely satisfied because I thought it faded a bit in contrast with the black. The black is Camerose. It's a Danish brand, and I have to make some adjustments because I want something to pop more than this. But then I have this really lovely new friend in Karin, and I haven't shown this to, yeah, at work I've shown it, but I haven't shown it online yet, because I went to a store. I bought all this yarn in her store, Flittilis in Esbjerg. It's without a doubt my favorite store, just because I can come there and just sit there and drink a cup of coffee and just talk and get inspired and maybe inspire her a bit. And she's just the sweetest, and she has the sweetest woman working alongside her, Marianne. And I went there yeah, I think 2 or 3 weeks ago, just after my illness, and I just needed something to, yeah, enjoy. And I mentioned to her that I was looking for this new yarn for my mittens, and I showed her the pattern and what I wanted, and we were looking around in the store and she couldn't really find something, and then she just said, oh, wait a minute, I'll just look. And then she went into her basement and in the cellar, and she came back, and then she had this beautifully hand-dyed silk unspun, but it was so lovely. It was like touching baby bird in the nest, and I was just walking around and and just stroking it, and it was so lovely. And she actually said she wanted to spin it for me. So yeah, at first I didn't want her to do that because I know that's a lot of work and it's just a silly project of mine. But she insisted, so I said, well, okay, then just do it. And she did. And last week when I was in there, look what came home with me. This is only part of it because yeah, she just told me she had more, but just so I could see how it would end up. And look at this hand spun, hand dyed yarn. It is so lovely. I haven't dared to cast it on yet. I'm just going around and just hugging it. It's this lovely blue, purple, green, just wound beautifully together. So I can't wait to try and put this into my peacock mittens. Yeah, it will be really lovely. So stay tuned for this, or yeah, again, Instagram is always the way. But speaking of those mittens, these, next week I will try and make, and I'll cry, no, shout out for test knitters for these mittens, because I will have made the pattern for it, and I will have made the reconstruction that I wanted. So I will put that up. So yeah, keep an eye out for this. I'm really excited about it. It's like I had this phase of knitting socks all the time, and I still love to knit socks, and it's very lovely between the larger projects. But right now it's actually the mittens that really give me that special feeling. No, but I really enjoy it because it's just a lovely way of making something to, yeah, hold your hand, keep you warm. And now that I've started to make my own patterns, I can personalize it even more, and hopefully some of you out there will like it as well. So yeah, keep an eye out. I will announce something very, very soon. Yeah. On to the next segment. It's all that stash, and actually I wanted to show Karin's as the grand thing of my stash enhancements, but I can show it again just because it is so beautiful. But I actually have some other things to show you, because in the same store, Fliddelise, she got this new brand, or for her new brand, it is called Navia. I know that Ellie from Scandinavian Knits has mentioned it a few times. She uses this for mittens as well, I think, and she actually recommends it in her new pattern for Blåfjell. And let me tell you about that sweater later, because that's definitely going on my needles this year. But this is Navia Uno. It is 100% pure wool, and I bought it because, yeah, even though I have the peacock mittens ready to release, I already have a new pattern and something completely different. So this will be used for it. So keep an eye out for these two colors. They will be knit up very soon. I actually love the feel of it. It's very rustic. Yeah, but yeah, because it's wool. But I actually Karin made a sample, and she washed it, and it was so soft afterwards. I was so surprised. So I will definitely knit more out of this. It's actually very cheap. I don't know why, but compared to other brands in Denmark, it comes very cheap, and it's in a variety of colors. I think the Uno is not. There's not such a wide range of colors, but I think the Duo has a lot more colors to choose between. I don't know, maybe that was wrong, but at least, yeah, no matter what, I actually really like this, and I love the texture of it, so I can't wait to cast this on. Yeah, I can say that they're going to be mittens as well. But then something really special happened last week. Half a year ago, my aunt contacted me and asked me if I wanted to come and visit her and go to the that's not true. The Woll- und Stofffest in Leipzig, Germany, and I haven't visited her for a very long time. And the one thing that truly connects us right now is actually our knitting and our craftiness. I really wanted to visit her and show her some of the stuff I've made and see what she's up to. So I thought, well, maybe that would be a very great idea. So last week a few weeks ago, I started to plan that I wanted to go there by car on Friday and then go home again on Sunday and then have a day off on Friday. But, on Monday. But then snow happened, and the entire northern part of Germany was covered in snow. So my mom was really anxious about me going on my own on the German Autobahn down to my aunt who lives in Harzen, nearby Goslar and Bad Harzburg. And so she somehow convinced me that I needed to take the train. So I took my day off on Friday instead of the Monday, and went down to my parents, and they drove me to Flensburg, where I jumped onto a train, and then I thought everything would be great. And I'm so happy that I took a lot of knitting, and I had spare batteries, and I had my phone and some great music and my iPad and so on, because that was the longest trip ever. I jumped on the train about 11 o'clock and came down there at 6:30. It was 1 hour delayed. I had to stop in Hamburg and wait there for an hour before the train could, before there was a train where I can jump onto the next in Hanover and go to Goslar. But I decided that I just stayed half an hour in Hamburg, then took the train to Hanover, and then had half an hour there, because then I could buy some flowers for my aunt and for my grandparents' grave, because I wanted to go there in the evenings, and I wasn't sure that I was going to get flowers when I got to Goslar, because it was so late. And so she picked me up at 6:30, and we went home and drove a little and saw this lovely waterfall that was completely frozen. They had minus 15 degrees but almost no snow, but it was really pretty, and I was so happy to be down there again. I've been there a lot as a child, visiting my grandparents, and now that they aren't there anymore, it's just not that often that I get there. So when I am there, it is very nice. My aunt loves to drive her car around, so she shows me all the things I want to see. So that was really lovely. And then we came home, and the evening was just spent with eating something and just showing each other the projects we were doing. And then the next morning we were going to Leipzig with her knitting club, 4 lovely ladies whom I met the first time. So it was very strange. I was the youngest on the train right there, but it was very nice. And we came to Leipzig, and we stood in queue for way too long, and it was chaos, but we got in, and then it was just yarn heaven. There were just a few fabric booths. I wasn't really looking for fabric, but a lot, and I really mean it, a lot of hand-dyed yarn. There's this crazy thing going on in Germany with people doing shawls all the time. It's in Denmark as well, but a lot of people use mass fabricated yarns, but it's like the Germans really like this hand-dyed yarn. So 95% were hand-dyed, and from businesses I've never heard of. So I was just strolling around and just feeling and smelling and touching everything, and it was so great. And I've met a lot of great people there, and I talked to a few of the owners of the hand-dyed fabrics, and it was just lovely. I didn't have a budget. I just thought, well, if I find something that I want, I will buy it, and I actually behaved way too well. Maybe I'm a little disappointed in myself that I didn't buy more. I had a lot of skeins that I went back to and just stood with and looked at and wanted to buy, and just thought, well, what are you going to use them for? And that's just the most silly thought you can have when you are at a yarn festival. But nevertheless, I actually only bought 2 skeins of yarn. And of course, when Rohr, Spatz und Wollmeise are there, you are magnetically forced to go there. So I actually bought 2 skeins of their yarn, and it was actually not planned, and maybe I would have wanted to buy some other yarns there. Yeah, looking back, I should have just bought some other things, but I'm really happy about these 2. The first one that I was actually standing with a handful of lace yarn and just looking at them and thinking, well, you have something similar at home, maybe you shouldn't take that, and putting it back and then taking another one, and I was sorry. It was hard to decide because there were so many beautiful colors, but I ended up with this one called Mistelzweig. It's called mistletoe in English. It's this lovely, very, very green, and it's a lace yarn. It's 525 meters per 100 grams. I actually had another green, more like the other Wollmeise I showed you on the sock, but thought, well, it'll be summer soon, so maybe it would be better to get this fresh green. It somehow reminds me of green apples, even though it's way darker, and yeah, it is just lovely. I love this green color. I haven't put a project on it yet, but I will come back to that in just a few minutes, because I have huge plans for this year, and this will be part of it. But I really love this, so I needed to have it. And the other one is very autumnal. Surprise! It is this one. It is called, sorry, I will have to look, Golden Pear. Yeah, it reminds me a lot of the roasted pumpkin, but it's actually more of a curry color than orange, and I just had to have it. It's lace weight again, and look at it. It's just wonderful. I also bought, just because they are hard to find here in Denmark, like I mentioned, my Knit Pro Zings 2.25. I love these needles. I think it's one of the first episodes I asked if there was any chance that you could get a set of these 2.25 and 2.75, because it's not a regular size here in Europe. We use the 2.0 and the 2.5, but not these. And I use a lot of American patterns and English patterns, and they actually use these pretty often. So I have started to collect them individually. So these, I were in need of these because I only have one set of them, and sometimes I want to have more than one project on my needles using these needles or this needle size. So I bought another set, and I'm really happy about that. And also I bought these fixed needles, also Knit Pro Zing, in these odd sizes, 2.75, 3.25 and 3.75, and that's actually because I have quite a few patterns lying around which use these, and I know that I could alternate and I could fiddle around with my gauge, but and hope maybe I won't need them anyway, because if my gauge is not right, it's not right. But now I have them, and now I don't need to long for them, so I'm really happy about this. And one of the great things in this at this yarn festival was actually that they also had a lot of beside these very colorful booths with all the hand-dyed yarn, they also had a few booths with yarn that wasn't dyed, or Rolex and all those kind of stuff that was just natural, and I really loved that. And then there was this one booth with English wool and like the Navia. I really like this rustic thing. It's lovely for Fair Isle and Norwegian or Scandinavian knitting, and I really like that. I don't mind that it scratches. I always have something underneath, but yeah, I really love that. And they had some, the man in there was wearing this lovely ganze in this very lovely curry color. And so I bought this 60 leichte Ganze Muster. It's a German book, but actually there's no print in it. I'll just show you quickly. It's the pattern and then how it looks like knit up, and I really like that. It's 60 patterns, and you can put them together as you like. One thing I like about Ganze is that it's not like Fair Isle or Scandinavian or Latvian knitting. It's not multicolored. It's always just one color, and then it just uses the pattern to create a story or tell where you're from, or all those things. So I really like that. So I bought this, and maybe I will use some of them in some of my future projects. But yeah, well, let's wait and see. It was inexpensive, so I had to take it home with me. But that was actually all I bought. I know I didn't have a lot of space in my luggage. I took one of those trolleys, and I knew that I couldn't take more than what I could take in this bag, but I'm a little disappointed in myself. I need to go to another yarn festival. At least I know that I will be back next year, because I thought it was really lovely. It had these great spaces where you can sit and knit, and people were lovely, and people were talking with each other even though they didn't know each other. So that was really nice, and I'll be back next year. It was something that I don't want to miss, and maybe next year I'll drive by car, and then I'll just take everything home with me. That would be great. On the last episode I talked about Katie again. Katie from Inside Number 23, that she had made all these plans about Make 9 for her sewing and her knitting, and I actually thought a lot about it and wondered, do you want to make this Make 9? Is it even possible? And last year I knit a lot for other people, and this year I have this strong urge to knit something for myself, and so I started this jumper. But I really want to knit a lot of other things. I have just bought a pattern I think you all might know. It is this one, Bluffjell, by Scandi Knits. It's Ellie. I really love her stuff. I have been binge watching her episodes. I have written her, and I actually love her episodes because I think, I don't know her at all. I don't know what she is like, but I like a lot of the stuff she likes as well, and I love that you can see the development in her knitting and in her pattern making, and I really love Bluffjell. I actually wanted to test knit it, but I was too slow when it was announced, because else I would have finished it by now, because I would have taken it to Sweden and finished it there. But I really love the things she does. I think she has a lovely podcast. If you haven't checked her out, please check her out. She's just into these lovely Scandinavian and Fair Isle and Latvian multicolored knitting things. It's not just the jumpers, the sweaters, or mittens. It's everything, and I think it's lovely. I think it's very, very lovely, and I actually also like that on one of her first episodes she was talking about the fact that she didn't have a lot of followers on her podcast, and I have been wondering about the same. I was also asked why I do this in English and not in Danish, because maybe I would have a greater audience in Denmark than I would trying to get into the knitting community, the international knitting community. But I really want to try this, and hopefully some of you will like it and recommend it somewhere. I'll just keep on doing this because I really like it, and I've been bitten by the podcast bug. But yeah, recommendation. I will definitely cast this on as the next project after this jumper, and I have already thought of the colors, and I don't think I will do it in blue, even though I have plans for this year. I want to make something in blue, and I want to make something in red, and in green as well. That's my favorite color, but I actually think that I will make the bluff yellow in brown, in 2 different brown tones, and the white. But yeah, let's wait and see. I will need to have the yarn in my hands to make a decision. But I really love the pattern, and I like the fact that it is cropped. It's a very 50s style, so it will be knit up very fast, and it will wait for me until the season starts again. Hopefully we'll get a little bit of sun this summer, so I won't need these big sweaters, but well, yeah, I'll just wear this. That's one of the projects I want to do this year. Another project I want to do is actually a cardigan for my niece. My sister-in-law asked me if I wanted to knit something for her again. I have knitted her this lovely pullover with hearts. It's like stripes. I don't remember the name, and it was made out of stash and leftovers, and it's just really silly project, and I made it for her like 2 years ago, and it was way too big for her, but now she can finally wear it, and she's wearing it all the time, and she loves it very much, so she wants another one. And my sister-in-law was asking for a cardigan, like Norwegian style, with a pattern as a border up here, but yeah, her actual words were, it cannot be too Christmassy, and she would think that this one is too Christmassy, and I don't think it at all. But yeah, so I was looking for something special for her, and I have this one. It's a Danish book called Kærlighed på Pinde, by a Danish knitwear designer called Lene Holme Samsø. I will link it down below. It's translated, it's called Love on Needles, and it's all these beautiful patterns for kids, and actually thought of making this for my niece. She's a redhead as well, and I just love this pattern. It's called Dahlia. It's also this pattern used up here is actually used in a lot of the other patterns. It's also made in a grown-up version, and yeah, it's just very lovely. But my mom said that I shouldn't do it because she has a lot of dresses already, and she wouldn't wear it. But I decided to make this one. It's called Sunma. It is a very lovely pattern, and actually, if you see it here, it's in a cardigan as well. So I will make this, but in the colors like the other, like this rose and white. And I already bought the yarn. I bought Sandnes for it. It's a mix of wool and cotton. I thought it might be easier to clean. And since my niece is little devil sometimes and a rascal, I thought it would be better to take a mix yarn than anything else. So that's one of the projects that will be on my needles as well this year. I will, of course, knit a lot of socks. I got a lovely pattern booklet from my aunt. She bought it a few years ago. It's from 2015. It's in German, and it has these lovely, lovely, lovely patterns in it. And so I think I will do a lot of different things this year, trying not to do the same patterns as the last year, and trying not to do as many vanilla socks because I really love the pattern socks, and maybe even doing some of my own. So that's definitely going to be some of the projects. So the bluff yellow, the one for my niece, and the socks. And then something special is about to arrive here in this house because I have ordered the vintage Shetland project from Susan Crawford Vintage. I really admire Susan Crawford. She's been through a lot, and she's just a remarkable woman, and I of course have her A Stitch in Time Volume 1 and 2. I haven't knit a lot of things out of those books yet. That's a project for this year, besides the Vintage Shetland project. I actually saw the interview by Fruity Knits, I think so. They made an interview with Susan Crawford just before Christmas, and it's such an amazing interview where she tells about this project and shows some of the pattern or the sweaters and histories that are in there, and I can't wait to see it. There's an essay for every pattern telling the story of the pattern. I think that's very, very lovely. Yeah, I can't wait. I'm so excited, and I hope it will arrive very soon. But yeah, A Stitch in Time it's in my library and Ravelry. I have them as books, so it's just a matter of sitting down and just starting from one end. I have actually put a lot of post-its in there for projects that I want to knit up, and that is where these two will come into play, because some of her projects are actually made in lace weight yarn, her own vanilla, but I have bought this and I will try and figure something out with them. I need some sweaters to use during summer, and she has the most amazing vintage patterns in there, and I don't know what happened over the past 2 weeks, but I've just been bitten by the vintage bug again, so I will do more of that as well. So it will be a vintage and very me year. I want to knit something, or I want to knit more for myself, so I have a lot of sweaters and socks and lovely things, and I want to sew more. I want to sew some shirts and skirts and a blazer, and there are just a lot of projects waiting for me, and I think this year will be the year where I will try and make them all. And that's the end. I don't have any more. Those were all of my things, and yeah, I hope you enjoyed it. I hope I will be back in 2 weeks. It's like I said, it's been a busy few weeks. I went to a concert last week, which was amazing. If you don't know Seth Walker and you like roots, blues, jazzy music, go check him out. It was mind-blowing. But please check my website, www.baswik.com, or sorry, .dk. It is my own hand-dyed yarn. Go to Ravelry, find me there. Go to Instagram and find me there. And yeah, give me a thumbs up on this video. I will look forward to seeing you the next time. And until then, happy knitting and just have an awesome time. Bye.